This video is presented by LaExcellence IAS Academy.
Hello everyone, welcome to LaExcellence IAS. In this video, we are going to discuss about the strategy session for the Ex Shiksha program, which is a year-long test series program, which contains tests for both prelims and mains. Along with that, we are also giving a mentorship program. So, those of you who are interested in this particular course can contact the number which is given below here. Now, going into the schedule for the next test, if you see, the schedule for the test has been given from 31st August to 4th September. So, students need to prepare for the topics which we have been giving for this test number 7. So, while preparing on this test, students will be required to prepare on especially on modern India and as well as on the current affairs segment, which we will be discussing in the coming video. Now, in this, students need to, after preparing on these videos, that is, after preparing on this timeline, students should come and give the mains test on 5th September and then the prelims test on 6th of September. Going into the syllabus component. So, the syllabus component consists of, especially in modern history, fall of Mughals, advent of Europeans, India under East Indian Company's rule, Indian Kingdom in 18th century, Maratha, Punjabs, Mysore, etc., socio-religious reform movement, Great Revolt of 1857, growth of political ideas and political organizations. So, in this topic, if you see the most important topic which have been asked in the UPSC examination at prelims as well as at the mains level is the socio-religious reform movement. So, those students who are preparing for this test number 7, kindly give more priority to the socio-religious reform movement followed by Great Revolt of 1857 and then these political organizations which has been established. But the maximum priority should be spent on socio-religious reform movement and the Great Revolt of 1857 because UPSC has plenty of times have asked questions on this topic. And going into the current affairs component for the test number 7, it consists of current affairs which students need to prepare for the April month 2023 current affairs. As you know very well, for the preliminary test which students are required to attend on test number 7, they need to prepare current affairs segment also, and the prelims question overall consists of, this test consists of 100 questions. In that 75 questions will be picked from the modern Indian history segment and 25 questions will be picked from the April month current affairs on especially the topics related to economy, international relations, social issues, geography and environment. So, kindly give maximum attention to the economic related current affairs in this monthly current affairs segment. And going into the sources for the modern Indian history. So, students need to prepare old history as well as new NCERT for this test. But what we will advise for the Ex Shiksha students who are coming for the test, give maximum focus to the new NCERT because UPSC in the last 3-4 years, if you see in the pattern of the examination which they are asking, they are giving maximum focus to the new NCERTs. So, after completing the new NCERT, if you find time, we will advise the students to go and prepare for the old NCERTs also. So, the old NCERT consists of Bipin Chandra. This is a 12th standard book. And this book will be particularly very much important for the mains examination. And regarding prelims examination also, the topics such as socio-religious reform movements have been presented and discussed in a better manner. So, students can use this book as a reference material. And in addition to that, when we go for the mains answer writing practice, some analytical views and opinions can be collected from this old NCERT book. And going into the new NCERT, students need to read the 8th standard new NCERT book, which consists of Part A and Part B. So, they need to focus on both these. In addition to that, themes in Indian history, which is a 12th standard modern India book. This is going to be very much important for the students for preliminary examination. And the sources for the current affairs component for test number 7 will be our LAEX monthly Spark magazine. So, students can collect it from our admin as well as from those who have already subscribed to the course. They can refer this LAEX Spark magazine, especially the topics related to economics and geography and environment are going to be crucial from the current affairs segment for this test. And going into the sources which we have discussed already, this is the old NCERT which we have been talking about. Now, in this old NCERT, as we have discussed already, this book is going to be very much crucial for your mains examination. But when it comes to prelims examination, students should focus on especially chapter number 7. So, chapter number 7, it talks about the social and cultural awakening movement, especially related to socio-religious reform movement. Here, better content and factual information can be collected from the topic, which will be useful for the preliminary examination. And Great Revolt of 1857 is again going to be very much crucial for both prelims and mains. So students need to give maximum attention to these two chapters. Once it's covered, we advise the students to go through the remaining chapters also. So with respect to the remaining topics, if you see the national movement from 1905 to 1918, as well as the struggle for Swaraj. Again, these two topics also needs to be covered in a better manner. When it comes to the themes in Indian history, this is an 8th standard NCERT. Again, it is a new NCERT. Here, while reading this particular component of the book, students needs to prepare. So much importance needs to be given, especially to the rebels and the Raj. Here, the preliminary aspect questions can be expected more from this topic. And when it comes to the mains examination, students should spend maximum on the non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, and the Quit India movement. So that will be covered in the theme chapter number 11 here in the new NCERT. Again, going into the part B in the 8th standard NCERT book, here students can read this book, especially chapter number 7. This is going to be very much crucial for the mains examination. And again, the selective reading of the chapter number 8 will be going to be very much useful for both prelims and mains. And going into the most important component for the test number 7, that is notes making. As we keep saying to our LAEX Shiksha students, notes making is one thing which will make difference to your preparation, because it will not only help in your answer writing, it will also help you to read and remember and revise in a much better manner rather than your competitors. While comparing with your competitors, those who make notes, they will be always in a better stage and in a better position to compete over them. So keep doing the notes making, and even while making the notes, give maximum importance to the topics are the most important chapters which we are discussing. So once the notes are ready for this component, then you can go for a you can prepare on the notes making for the remaining topics which we have listed in the test. So while preparing the notes, students should make sure that the notes should be very simple and in a point-wise manner, and try to include subheadings also in the notes, because what we are finding in the LAEX Shiksha test program is that students are coming and writing now. Most of the students are having a structure in the answer, and many of the students are also trying to address the question also in a proper manner. But when it comes to drawing diagrams, many of the students are finding it difficult to draw, and even many of the students are not they are finding it difficult to include examples in the answers, or try to bring in various examples from different kinds of movements such as Swadeshi movement, non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, and Quit India movement, so to bring liveliness in your answer. And always make sure that whenever you mention any important movements, so make sure that time period is also mentioned in the bracket, and diagram can also be included in the history questions also, modern India component. So make use of more flow charts as well as more India based maps, so that the answers will bring more liveliness. These diagrams will help you, the examiner, that is, these diagrams will help the candidates to fetch more marks in the exam. Also give maximum attention to the current affairs update also. If anything related to these important freedom personalities are coming in news, try to follow that news also, because UPSC will give maximum attention to the current affairs component also while setting the questions. And going into the UPSC trend analysis, as we have discussed already, with respect to modern India, the most important component is going to be your socio-religious reform movement, then Great Revolt of 1857, and the immediate policies are administrative and economic policies, what India, especially what Britishers have changed after the Great Revolt of 1857. So these three things need to be studied together. Then followed by that, when we enter the various kinds of movements, that is starting from Swadeshi movement, non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, and then Quit India movement also need to be studied, and the notes has to be prepared in a manner, in a better analytical manner. Make sure that you don't write a factual information which is given in the book. Try to include the reasoning component, especially while writing the answers. In the main body of the answer, you should always have why, how, and where component in the answer. So try to address that in a better manner in the coming examination. So as we have discussed already, the most important the topics in this trend analysis for the UPSC exam also, if you see, they have given maximum attention to the socio-religious reform movement in 2021 exam. Again in 2021, they have also asked one more question on non-cooperation movement, and one more question in 2020 focuses on the Governor General. So Governor General question, always when you study history, you need to give focus on Governor Generals also, on their policies. But here a less importance or less focus can be given, because more focus, what we advise to the students is that should be spent on socio-religious and the various kinds of movements which were established during the freedom struggle. And going into the UPSC preliminary questions with respect to this topic, UPSC have asked a lot of questions with respect to the various acts, starting from Indian Council Act 1892, and then the Marlow-Minto reforms 1909, and then Montagu-Chelmsford reforms 1919, and then Government of India Act 1935. From this component, surely preliminary question can be expected. So make sure when you read the NCERTs, especially old NCERTs, you will be getting a very good information related to these various acts, and that is where UPSC have also picked a question in the past in preliminary examination. And going into the another component with respect to preliminary examination is with respect to the leaders and the movements, especially when they focus on preliminary examination. In UPSC prelims, they tend to give maximum attention to the extremist terrorist rather than the moderates. So make sure you focus on that component and the contribution of this extremist and the movement which they have been attached to. So that should be the focus. And going into the UPSC toppers answer copy analysis for this test number 7, especially for modern Indian history. So what we keep telling to the students is that make sure your structure of the answer should contain a simple introduction of 2 to 3 lines, because most of the students who are writing the introduction tend to write more than 5 lines. Again, your introduction is not going to fetch you not more than 1 mark. So spending anything more than the 3 lines is going to be counterproductive with respect to your time management also, as well as the impression which you are getting from the examiner is also going to be negative. So make sure you have a precise introduction of 2 to 3 lines, and the conclusion should also be of 2 to 3 lines. And when it comes to the body of the answer, so this is the answer copy of All India Rank 1 Ishita Sharma. So again, she has followed the introduction in 4 lines as well as the conclusion in 3 lines. And if you look at the main body of the answer, she has actually put at the same words which has been there in the question. She has used that in the subheading. This is what we keep telling to the students in the test. When you are writing, make sure that the subheadings you are using for the body of the answer should be the same word which is given in the question itself. Don't come and create a new subheading, because it will create confusion not only for the students as well as for the examiner who is evaluating your answer. So you should incorporate that. And in addition to that, as we keep saying, whenever you write a 10-marker question, it should be written ideally 1.5 pages. But if you have a more enough content, you can keep writing up to the 2 page, which is maximum given to the candidates. But while writing the points, make sure that you always include the various movements along with the year. This is what we keep telling. When you do the notes making itself, make sure that you keep covering the time periods also. So make sure that you have enough examples in your answer, and also you make sure that you make use of various pictographical presentations in your answer. That is that you can use various flow charts and then India-based regional maps to make sure that your answer is very unique from your competitors. So the candidates who are giving the test number 7, keep following these tips for your effective answer writing. So I hope this answer strategy session of test number 7 is going to be useful to you. So prepare well and